What if the man you thought was gone forever suddenly walked back into your life? What if the story you believed had ended was only waiting for its most powerful chapter? Heartland Season 19 begins with the return of Borden, a twist so unexpected and so emotional that it changes the lives of everyone at Heartland Ranch. This is not just another season, it's the season where love, loss, and second chances collide in ways no one ever imagined. The first episode of Heartland Season 19 opens in a deceptively peaceful way. Life on the ranch seems to have settled into a quiet rhythm. Amy has grown stronger over the years, raising Lyndy with the same resilience she inherited from Marion and Jack. The daily chores, the sound of horses, and the sweeping beauty of the land paint a picture of normalcy. But beneath this calm lies an emptiness, a void left by Ty's absence. Amy has carried that loss in silence. While she's learned to smile again, every corner of the ranch still carries echoes of Ty. The loft, the barn, even the trails remind her of the life they once shared. For Amy, moving forward has been about survival, not healing. Jack, ever the pillar of wisdom, notices her quiet struggles, but he knows some wounds take a lifetime to mend. Lou, balancing her duties as mayor and mother, often worries about Amy being too alone. Yet Amy insists she is fine until the unthinkable happens. The tension begins when strange signs start appearing around the ranch. Horses behave restlessly at night, as if sensing something unseen. Jack finds footprints near the barn, too fresh to be old, yet belonging to no one from the family. At first, everyone dismisses it as coincidence. But Amy feels something in her heart, a stirring, a whisper of a presence she cannot explain. And then, in a moment so surreal it feels like a dream, Borden returns. His sudden appearance is not grand or dramatic. He simply stands there, alive, breathing, and real. For Amy, it feels like the ground beneath her feet has given way. The man she loved, the father of her daughter, the soul she mourned, is standing just a few feet away. But the return is not without questions. Where has he been? Why didn't he come back sooner? And why does he look as though he carries a lifetime of pain in his eyes? The answers remain hidden, and the first episode ends on that chilling note. Ty is back, but his silence leaves the family in shock. The calm Heartland once knew is gone. Something bigger, heavier, and far more emotional is about to unfold. When Ty steps back onto Heartland soil, the world doesn't just pause, it shatters. For Amy, his presence is both a miracle and a torment. She rushes forward, trembling, unable to trust her own eyes. For so many nights she dreamed of this moment, but dreams always ended in emptiness. Now, standing before her, Ty is not a ghost, not a memory, he is alive. Yet in his silence, in the way his shoulders slump as if carrying the weight of mountains, she realizes something is terribly wrong. Jack is the first to find his voice. His weathered eyes, usually so calm, flash with disbelief. He has buried friends, endured losses, and carried the weight of the ranch for decades. Yet nothing compares to this. For Jack, Ty was never just a hired hand. He was family, a son in all but blood. Seeing him alive is a blessing, but Jack's instincts tell him there's more to the story than Ty is willing to say. Lou, always the one to demand answers, breaks the silence with raw emotion. She doesn't ask how, she asks why. Why did he disappear? Why let Amy and Lyndy grieve all these years, believing he was gone forever? Her voice trembles between anger and relief, because for Lou, family means truth, and Ty's silence feels like betrayal. And then there's Lyndy, the little girl who grew up knowing her father only through stories, photographs, and whispered prayers. She hides behind Amy at first, her wide eyes staring at this man who looks exactly like the hero from her bedtime tales. It takes only a heartbeat, though, for her to feel the bond. When Ty kneels down and whispers her name, Lyndy takes a step forward, her tiny hand reaching for his. That single moment cuts through the shock like sunlight through clouds. For Amy, it is both beautiful and unbearable. But even as hearts tremble with joy, the questions grow heavier. Ty doesn't explain his disappearance. His eyes dart away when pressed. His voice falters when Lou demands the truth. All he says is that there are things they cannot yet understand, things he cannot yet reveal. His words only deepen the mystery, leaving the family torn between love and suspicion. The ranch itself feels the change. Horses, once restless, now seem calmer in his presence, as if they recognize Ty's spirit before the family does. But for Amy, peace is far away. She wants to believe in miracles, but she knows miracles often come with shadows. And in Ty's shadow, she sees scars, emotional, physical, and secrets too deep to name. The second section of the story ends with an unspoken truth. Ty's return is not just about healing, it's about uncovering a past that threatens to tear the family apart again. Ty may be back at Heartland, but his silence is louder than words. Every glance, every pause carries weight. Amy senses it most, because she knows him better than anyone. She notices the way his hands tremble when he holds a cup of coffee, the way he avoids looking at her when she speaks of the past, the way he lingers by the barn as though searching for answers only he can see. For Amy, love means truth, but Ty's walls are built high, and each brick is a reminder of the years she lost. Jack grows restless. He has lived through wars of the heart and storms of the land, but he knows that silence is dangerous. One evening, he corners Ty in the barn. His words are steady, not harsh, but they cut deep. If you're hiding something, it will hurt this family more than your absence ever did. Ty listens, but his eyes flicker with something that chills Jack, fear. Not fear of Jack, not fear of confession, but fear of what's still out there, beyond Heartland's fences. Lou, on the other hand, refuses to wait for answers. She begins digging, reaching out to contacts, trying to trace where Ty has been all these years. Each lead turns into a dead end, as if someone has deliberately erased his trail. The harder Lou pushes, the more uneasy the family becomes. Because if Ty's return is part of a larger secret, then they are all in danger of being swept into it. Meanwhile, Lyndy grows attached quickly. Children have a way of seeing truth without words, and she clings to Ty as though she has known him her entire life. For her, there are no questions, only love, but even in their sweetest moments, Ty's eyes betray sorrow. He holds her like a man terrified of losing her again, as though every embrace might be his last. And then comes the first crack in his silence. Late one night, Amy finds Ty outside beneath the stars, staring into the darkness beyond the ranch. When she begs him to tell her the truth, his voice breaks. "I wasn't just gone, Amy. I was kept away." That single confession ignites a storm. Amy's heart lurches, kept away. By whom? And why? But before she can press further, Ty shuts down, his face closing like a door slammed shut. The mystery grows heavier, hanging over Heartland like a storm cloud. Joy and love are still present, but so are fear and suspicion. Amy knows Ty has returned with scars that won't heal with time alone. And unless he shares his truth, the very foundation of the family could fracture. This chapter ends not with answers, but with more questions. Ty's return is no longer a miracle to be celebrated. It is a puzzle that could change the lives of everyone who loves him. Tension builds in the Heartland ranch like a storm waiting to break. What began as joy over Ty's miraculous return now hangs in a fragile balance between love and suspicion. Each family member feels it differently. Jack grows quieter, Lou becomes sharper, Amy more restless, and even the horses seem uneasy around Ty's presence. It's as though the land itself senses that the truth is yet to be told. Amy can no longer bear the weight of silence. She confronts Ty in the barn, the place that once symbolized their shared dreams. Her voice trembles, not with anger, but with heartbreak. "Why won't he let me in? You came back to me, to us, but you're still so far away." For a moment, Ty's eyes soften, as if he longs to release the burden, but then his gaze hardens again. He whispers only one sentence, "If I tell you everything, it will put you in danger." Those words shake Amy to her core. Danger. At Heartland, their sanctuary, she realizes Ty isn't only protecting himself. He's protecting her, Lyndy, and the entire family. But from whom? Or from what? Lou overhears part of the conversation, and her resolve strengthens. Unlike Amy, she refuses to wait in fear. She presses Ty directly during a family dinner, demanding to know the truth. The room falls silent, the clatter of forks forgotten, every eye fixed on him. Ty's hands tighten into fists, and his jaw locks. For a heartbeat, it feels like he might break. But then he stands abruptly, the chair scraping loudly against the floor, and walks out into the night without a word. The silence he leaves behind is heavier than any answer. Jack follows him outside, his steps slow but steady. The old man's voice is firm, laced with wisdom. You don't get to disappear twice, son. Not from this family. For the first time since his return, Ty's mask slips. His eyes glisten with unshed tears, his breath ragged, his voice almost breaking. I didn't choose to leave, and if they find me here, none of us will be safe. That moment confirms the unspoken fear. Ty's disappearance was not by choice. Something or someone powerful enough kept him away, and now that he's back, danger may already be close. Inside the house, Amy clutches Lyndy tightly, feeling both love and terror. How does one protect a child from threats they don't even understand? Lou begins mapping out possibilities, her mind spinning with connections and suspicions. Jack, for all his wisdom, knows one truth. Whatever storm is coming, they must face it as a family. The cracks are showing. The joy of reunion is no longer enough to hold them together. Without the truth, fear grows, love is tested, and trust begins to crumble. Yet underneath all the hurt, Amy clings to one hope, that Ty will finally find the courage to share the full truth before it destroys them all. The night grows colder at the ranch, but inside every heart burns with unanswered questions. Ty's return, once a miracle, has now become a haunting mystery. Amy lies awake, her thoughts restless. Each word Ty spoke replays in her mind. If I tell you everything, it will put you in danger. Those words cut deeper than silence, leaving her torn between love and fear. Meanwhile, Jack sits on the porch, staring into the darkness. The ranch he built with his own hands has weathered countless storms, but this one feels different. He knows in his gut that whatever Ty is hiding is bigger than just one man's past. It threatens the very fabric of their family, their land, and their peace. Lou, never one to rest when danger looms, begins digging into Ty's disappearance with quiet determination. Old contacts, old records, any lead that might explain the years they lost. She knows the answers won't come easily, but she also knows Heartland cannot afford to be blindsided. The tension finally cracks when Amy finds Ty in the barn again, staring at Spartan as if trying to draw courage from the horse's steady strength. She steps closer, her voice steady but filled with desperate love. You don't have to carry this alone anymore. Whatever you're hiding, we'll face it together. For a moment, it seems like Ty might finally surrender to her plea. His lips part, his breath quickens, and the truth teeters on the edge of revelation. But just as the words are about to escape, headlights cut across the ranch yard. A car slows to a stop at the gate, its engine idling like a growl in the night. The entire family gathers at the window, watching in silence. The figure inside the car is cloaked in shadow, their face hidden, their presence unmistakably threatening. Ty stiffens, his entire body tensing as if he's been found. Amy sees the fear flash in his eyes. A fear not for himself, but for them. The car door opens slowly, the sound echoing across the still night. Every second stretches into eternity. Jack grips the edge of his chair, Lou instinctively shields Katie, and Amy clutches Lyndy close. Ty whispers under his breath, almost too soft to hear. It's starting.